Welcome to episode 12 of Angela Watson's Truth for Teachers. I'm your host, Angela Watson, and I'm here to speak life, encouragement, and truth into the minds and hearts of educators and get you energized for the week ahead. Today, I'm going to share some thoughts on how to cope when one of your students' parents just doesn't like you. Visit truthforteachers.com to get the transcript, links to recommended resources, and share your thoughts on the show. Now, I always tell you how much I appreciate the reviews you all have left for the show on iTunes, and I wanted to read one from an iTunes user called Room 227, who wrote, "In a world full of negative energy directed at teachers, this podcast is a breath of fresh air." Angela Watson is talking about some of the most stressful challenges for teachers and giving truly practical ideas for meeting those challenges. If you haven't listened to the Beating the Sunday Night Blues episode, go do it now. This is some of the best advice I've ever heard for managing the stress of never feeling caught up. Room 227, thank you so much for those kind words. They really mean a lot. And I also want to thank this episode's sponsor, Snap Learning. Snap Learning is a provider of fantastic digital reading resources, including materials for close reading. You can get a free demo of the product at snaplearning.co. So this week, we're talking about how to cope when a parent of one of your students doesn't like you. Now, I'm not talking about the parent who occasionally questions your teaching methodology or gives you constructive feedback. I'm talking about that parent that you just can't seem to please no matter what. The parent who shoots you an email on a daily basis about a problem and who finds fault in everything and is never satisfied, no matter how much you try to accommodate or compromise with them. So first off, I want you to know that this is not an unusual situation. And I wish that I had known that at the beginning of my teaching career. It took me so many years to come to terms with the fact that there will be some people in life that are just not going to like me or be happy with my work. Sometimes it's a personality conflict, and sometimes a person just has their own issues that they're projecting onto others. But almost every year, I had a parent who just seemed determined to find fault with my performance. And I used to find it extremely demoralizing. I would beat myself up about it, thinking, if only I was a better teacher, then all the parents would like me. But that's not how the world works. Everyone's not going to like me. Everyone's not going to like you. That's a completely unreasonable and unachievable goal. And I'm not even sure that it's one that's worth striving for. Getting all your students' parents to respect you as a professional, yes. But getting them all to like you, it's not going to happen. Almost every teacher has at least one parent every year who cusses them out or micromanages them and constantly questions them, or goes over their head to the principal about a minor issue, or just disrespects them in a whole myriad of subtle or not so subtle ways. Be mentally prepared for that, and don't take it personally. This happens to almost every teacher. Even if they're not telling the world about it, it's happening. I promise you that. I'm friends with some of the best teachers in this country, people who give 110% for their kids and parents, true innovators. They care so deeply about their students and just go above and beyond in every area. And I still get these tearful voicemail and Vox messages from them after they've gotten a nasty parent email or after they were called into the principal's office because a parent criticized them publicly for some tiny little misunderstanding. It's frustrating, but it happens. Anytime you're dealing with other people, there are going to be miscommunications, and everyone is not going to see eye to eye. It happens in every profession, in every social situation, and in every family. So don't let these situations surprise you or throw you off your game. For the most part, it's normal. Now, if you seem to be getting more than your fair share of complaints every school year, then it's a good idea to take a look at that. Get a colleague that you trust to give you some honest feedback about why relationships with parents have been so tough for you and how you can improve. This is especially important if you're getting the same complaints from multiple parents across multiple school years. That's a sign that you may need to either change something that you're doing or change the way that you're communicating it to other people so that they have a better understanding right up front about what you're doing and why you're doing it. But for our purposes here in this episode, we're talking about mentally coping with parents who don't like you. I want to drive home the importance of accepting the fact that some parents are never going to be your fans so that you don't get discouraged and stop trying to build a rapport with everyone else. Don't punish all the other parents because one or two of them are impossible to please. You must choose not to let a handful of parents steal your joy and enthusiasm for teaching because there's so many other families that are depending on you. Giving up on parent outreach because one or two parents are overly critical is like giving up on a lesson because one or two students are being disrespectful. You've got to keep your focus on the people who are appreciative of what you're doing. Train yourself to notice and celebrate the kids and parents who are cooperative. Keep those thank you notes and keep those compliments just running through your mind when you get discouraged. Remind yourself, I am making a difference. My efforts are important and they're appreciated by many people, whether they express that to me on a daily basis or not. If you don't make a conscious effort to focus on the positive interactions and accomplishments, you will become discouraged and bitter. And that is going to show through in your tone and your body language when you're talking with that parent. Have you ever tried to approach someone with a perfectly innocent question, and before you can even get your thought out, you see they're just giving you this crazy attitude? They've got their arms crossed, they're in this defensive posture, they're giving you this look. You can just tell, just from the tone in their voice, they're already mentally and emotionally shut down. They're completely unreceptive to whatever you're going to say. You can easily become that person after a string of negative interactions with a parent. It's very easy to become that way. We lay awake at night and we're replaying these conversations over and over in our heads. And we're rehearsing all the things that we wish we'd said and all the things that we're determined to say next time. And we tell the story about the conflict to all our friends and family members and colleagues. And we dwell on the negative interactions so much that all our future interactions with that parent are colored by it. It's almost impossible to be receptive or even to be neutral with that parent after constantly thinking and talking about all the ways that she or he has made your life miserable. You can never rebuild the relationship as long as you're harboring a negative, defensive attitude. And the parent is only going to find more fault with what you do because they see that you're already shut down to them. I'm speaking from experience here. Don't let that root of bitterness form in your mind because you're the one who's going to suffer. It's your motivation level that's going to crash. Don't do that to yourself. Tell yourself, I am not going to mentally replay that conversation over and over in my head. It's in the past and I'm moving forward. I am choosing to start each day fresh. Use that train of thought as a motivator so that you have the energy to keep reaching out to your most challenging parents. You don't give up on your students and you can't give up on their parents either. You are the professional. You are capable of taking the high road even when they don't. And even though it's hard in the moment, you will feel so much better afterward when you don't allow yourself to be dragged down by reacting to someone else's issues. You always want to look back at the end of the school year and know that you truly gave your all and feel confident that any rifts in the relationship did not stem from a lack of effort on your part. Keep doing everything in your power to make all your students' parents feel like they're an integral part of their kids' learning process. So stop replaying the negative interactions. Stay focused on the parents who are appreciative. Recognize that conflicts with parents are very normal, and it's okay if a parent doesn't like you. Make it your goal to earn the respect of all your students' parents, and you do that by acting respectfully and with dignity. Take care of yourself. Don't sacrifice your health and sanity over a parent that you will probably never have to deal with again when summer comes. Be kind to unkind people because they're the ones who need it the most. Each week, I end the show with a motivational quote, which I call the takeaway truth. And this week, I want to share some great words of wisdom from Robert Brault. Life becomes easier when you learn to accept an apology that you never got. Thanks for listening. Head over to truthforteachers.com to leave your thoughts in the comments. I hope you have a fantastic week. You can do this. And remember, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be worth it.